Continue to the next chapter. Court is really not long enough. Morning, Mr. Wright. Morning, Ellen. I see you're still wearing... I was just thinking that. Still wearing your wedding gown. I mean, I'm assuming her choices were that or like the person jumpsuit. Continue to wear it until our marriage is saved. Oh, Soren. He seems like he does not give a crap. You think he came to see how she's holding up? I don't think so at all. Soren, my love, you came all the way to the courthouse just to see me. Oh, Soren, I don't know what to say. Blueprints. Huh. Ancient blueprints. I can't find them. Do you know where they are? Oh, they're in your room. They're shelved from the bottom on the right-hand side. Oh. That might make me sad. Is that the only reason he likes her? Or does that make them a good couple? I can't decide. Like, she just knows where all his crap is. Huh, I see. Wait, is he gone? He's leaving already? Never mind, he sucks. Don't tell me he came just to ask about some stupid blueprints. Is he really that cold of a person, or is that just how he comes off, I wonder? I mean, unless those blueprints have a thing to prove her innocent, which could happen. It could happen. Then he sucks. What about me, Soren? Ellen? He's back. I'm home soon. Okay. I'm lost without you. Okay. Giving him the benefit of the doubt for now. Soren. Later. Looks like showing your vulnerabilities is the fastest way to capturing a woman's heart. You should take notes on this, Nick. Please leave me out of this. Yeah, anyway, it looks like Soren isn't big on words. But it's clear that he cares about Ellen. Doing that, I actually feel kind of relieved. Mr. Wright, I just absolutely can't be found guilty. You hear? Don't worry, I'm going to do everything I can to prove your innocence. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Alright, we got this. The trial is about to start, sir. Edgeworth. Knowing him, he's not going to yield an inch. So I've just got to fight with everything I've got and save Ellen. Alright, we can do this. September 22nd, 9 a.m. District Court. Courtroom number 6. Alright, we got this. Court is now in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
Seeing so many familiar faces gathered together like this, I feel as though I'm at a grand reunion. Makes me want to go out for dinner and a drink and reminisce with all of you. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. I was dying for a real burger the whole time I was away. We could make a welcome back party for Maya. How about it, Edgeworth?
I have no intention of cavorting with my enemies. Now then, Your Honor, let's start this trial at once.
Still not one for lighthearted banter, are you, Mr. Edgeworth?
Jokes and good humor are beyond worthless in a court of law.
Guess we'll just have to have the party without him, then.
However, were it after the conclusion of this trial, we might consider joining you for your little welcome back party. I certainly wouldn't mind an invite at the very least.
He's still as emotionally constipated as ever, is he? Is that the best line in all of Ace Attorney?
Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please go over the details of this case for us. The victim was Dumas Gloomsbury, a servant in the Sprocket household. He was in attendance at the wedding reception that occurred from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mr. Gloomsbury apparently felt some animosity towards Ellen Wyatt, and so, a bit after the reception ended at 10 p.m., he assaulted Miss Wyatt with the intent to kill her. The defendant fought back and ended up killing Mr. Gloomsbury.
Oh my god. So just hearing the times. So one of the things I was working through is that, like, okay, if they convinced Ellen that she had traveled through time, I'm like, it's still like 7 p.m. and 10 p.m., like, slight difference in available daylight. But what if you put something up in front of all the windows?
The defendant fought back and ended up killing Mr. Gloomsbury. In other words, it was justified self-defense, correct? If that's the case, the defendant might not be criminally responsible.
He's right. Worst case scenario, I could go for self-defense to avoid criminal charge. I wonder how Edgeworth plans to counter that, though.
The prosecution's first witness will make any view on the matter clear, Your Honor. Very well, bailiff, please bring in the first witness.
Oh.
Please state your name and occupation, witness.
Sky, forensic investigator. And I'd just like to say, sir, that being in the same courtroom as you is a great honor. Oh, that's right. You're a fan of Edgeworth, aren't you, Emma? We're good friends and all, Mr. Wright. Just this once, I intend to faithfully and fully testify for the prosecution. And I do mean that wholeheartedly.
I expect no less from you.
Yes, sir. I'm going to do my very best. Looks like you lost the popularity contest to Mr. Edgeworth, Nick. Meh. I really could care less. Besides, she'll see who's the better lawyer once I win this trial. Yeah, maybe then you'll actually really care less.
Now, Detective Sky, if you please.
Alright, we got this. We got this. Rundown of the case. Murder weapon was a clock called the Timekeeper. The victim was hit with it from behind and fell right over, right into the lantern. The defendant was spotted then, standing in front of the body holding the murder weapon. The victim was struck twice, by the way. Ooh, wait, hold on. He was struck twice. That's right, there's no mistake about it. First blow was to the back of the victim's head. It's hard enough to knock him unconscious. Yet despite that fact, he had been immobilized by the first blow. The defendant delivered a second, fatal blow to the side of the victim's... I can prove that wrong already. Which means, what exactly? The second blow wouldn't be self-defense.
I figured it would come right over your head. Let's put it this way, by striking the victim a second time, the defendant killed her last chance to escape from any criminal wrongdoing. She did, but how, Mr. Edgeworth? The defendant may have been fighting back because she was being attacked. However, she then went on to deliver a fatal blow to a man who was already fully unconscious.
Nick, is he saying what I think he is? I don't feel so well.
Thus, Mr. Wright, has justified self-defense been removed from the table. The prosecution intends to prove that the defendant killed the victim with murderous intent.
I can already refute the second statement. Or the last statement.
Allow me belatedly submit the victim's autopsy report.
You didn't want to get that to me maybe before the trial? so that's why he was acting all smug. Well, more smug than usual. It's fine, right? It's not like we were going to plead self-defense anyway, right? Well, I mean, it was like our fallback. Right, but now the judge has a negative impression of Ellen. He may not get to prosecute much anymore, but he definitely hasn't lost his touch. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. All right, I know what I want. But let's just do some pressing. Murder weapon was a clock. Call the timekeeper. L. Are you completely sure the murder weapon was the timekeeper? Yes, completely. The shape of the injury on the victim's head matches up with that of the timekeeper. It is definitely heavy enough to kill someone with. But would the defendant have been able to pick up and swing something so heavy? I tried it myself and I was able to lift it up just fine. Maybe you're just freakishly strong. Excuse me, Mr. Wright. Have you know that people on the force know me as the dainty forensic investigator? I don't know, it's better. Sorry, but really, you're hardly a delicate flower. Don't say that out loud.
Mr. Wright, this is a court of law. Save your antics for after the trial if you know how.
Yes, sir. It won't happen again, sir. This is such a good trial. Moving on. Victim was hit with it from behind and he fell over. Wait, hold on. Where is that? Ooh, do I want to present that here? Hit from behind and fell over into the lantern. Ooh. Hold on. Let's press this. The defendant was fighting back against the victim, right? If so, wouldn't she have hit him from the front and not behind? The victim might have tried to run once Mr. Wyatt started fighting back. That's probably when he got hit from behind. You see, thus the blow to the back of his head. The defendant must have looked awfully scary when she was brandishing that clock. I don't know about that. Regardless of how scary Ellen looked, the victim was definitely hit from behind. Oh, shoot. Hey, go on. No, can I present? Yes, of course, please do. Can I present my evidence? I was spotted then, standing in front of the body holding the murder weapon. But that's only because she panicked when she found the body. But she tried to use the timekeeper to go back in time. Yeah, that's
Mr. Wright, do you have any idea how absurd is that?
Very. But Miss Wyatt really believes she could travel through time with that clock.
You really should have come up with a more credible story, you know.
Yes, I agree. Me three, but it's all I've got to go on. Anyway, under the circumstances, the only conclusion we can draw is that the defendant killed the victim. Hold on, I'd like to go back. By the way. Alright, might as well keep pressing. Miss Wyatt must have had a chance to escape after she struck the victim the first time, so why would she stick around and hit him with such heavy object again? Well, about that.
Allow me to explain. Why did she strike him again, indeed? To finish off the victim, of course. This very act clearly shows that she had every intention of killing Mr. Gloomsbury.
Miss Wyatt would never do a thing like that.
Then let's see some evidence that just proves my theory.
Nah. Are you gonna stand there and take that from him, Nick? I can't refute his claim head on, so I'll have to approach it from a different angle. Well, it looks like we won't be going anywhere until we can refute Edgeworth's claim. This is so exciting. We haven't taken on Mr. Edgeworth in ages. Yeah. Okay, Nick, now go get him. No need to rush me, Maya. Alright, I'd better start by comparing Emma's testimony with the evidence we have. Then look for any glaring inconsistencies. Hold on, I want to go back. Hit from behind. Yeah, look at that. Objection! Yeah. Detective Sky, I'm afraid I have to apologize in advance. For what? For embarrassing you in front of your idol. What do you mean? If you take a look at this photo of the crime scene, you'll see that the victim is lying on his back. But if the victim had been hit from behind as you claim, then he should have fallen over into the lantern face first. Huh. It's not enough to simply take someone's side, Detective Sky, even if it's Mr. Edgeworth's. Huh. Oh.
There does appear to be a flaw in Detective Sky's testimony.
Mr. Wright, if you think I'm going to just sit back right down, then you're sadly mistaken. I'm just unusually fired up today. Don't forget, she's in front of her hero, Nick. If the Steel Samurai came to watch this trial, I'd want to do my absolute best, too. Listen, Mr. Wright, it's entirely possible that the defendant moved the victim's body after he fell over. In that case, there wouldn't be any contradiction, right?
Indeed, that was an excellent counter-argument, Detective.
You can count on me, sir. Nope. So what do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? Possible that the victim's body was moved after he fell into the lantern? It is not. Got that one right off the bat. Sorry, Detective, but there's no way the victim's body was moved after his death. Oh, really? And what makes you so sure? One look at this here and it should become obvious. Yeah, I actually don't. I'll go with that.
Take that!
There's broken bits of the lantern. Yes, if the body had been moved after the fact, these fragments would have fallen off of it. But as you can clearly see, they're lying perfectly undisturbed on top of the body. Nailed it! This means that the victim must have been lying face up from before the lantern even broke. Ah! You're right. But wait a minute, if that's true, then when was the victim killed? I mean, the lantern was still whole during the reception, right? Right, which means we've just overturned a major assumption about this case. If the victim was already dead before the lantern was even broken, then the body must have been inside the lantern since before the reception started. In other words, the defense asserts that the victim was killed before the wedding reception.
What?
No, killed before the second wedding reception. The fake one. Ooh, all the family, butlers, and help was in on. Oh my god, did I get this already? In short, when Miss Wyatt was seen standing in front of the body after the reception, it wasn't the moment just after the murder was committed. It was the moment she happened to discover the body, just as Miss Wyatt claims.
Objection!
Whether the act was committed before or after the reception is entirely inconsequential. After all, it was the defendant who prepared the reception hall for the event in question. Therefore, when the murder occurred, changes nothing with regard to her guilt. She could have killed the victim before the reception, as you claim, and then tried to hide his body in the lantern after the event ended.
But then why would she open it up? Big dummy. Sorry, but that doesn't make any sense. I mean, where would the body have been hidden during the reception in your scenario?
That's...
Even you have to admit, Mr. Edgeworth, that this has opened up a new possibility.
Do explain, Mr. Wright.
I'm on it. Well, if Miss Wyatt didn't commit the crime in the reception hall, then that means someone, somewhere, put the victim's body into the lantern.
I suppose that makes sense. A dead body couldn't have put itself in there.
That's true. Judge, good on you being on that. Exactly, Your Honor. In other words, if the murder actually occurred before the reception, it opens up the possibility that he was killed somewhere else. If the body was hidden inside the lantern, then it's possible that the body was moved along with it from somewhere else. Oh, you're right.
You can run that mouth of yours all you want. But do you have any evidence to support what's coming out of it, Mr. Wright?
Not usually. Of course I do. I think the answer lies in that piece of evidence and in something that was left at the crime scene that will point us to where the victim was really killed.
Very well, Mr. Wright. In that case, what proves the lantern and the body were moved from somewhere else?
Hold on, wait. I think it's this again. So notice this, when we got this. Yeah, those flowers are the same. So the idea is he was killed in the hold, which, crap, our client has access to. That's not great. Alright. That's fine. We just gotta move this along. Go to the victim again. Yes. I'd like the court to focus on this thing right here.
Take that!
Flower petals, Mr. Wright. These petals are from a kind of flower that were not present in the reception hall. This means they must have gotten into the lantern when it was somewhere else.
Just where do you propose this somewhere else to be, Mr. Wright?
I propose that this piece of evidence will tell us where the flower petals came from. This is actually bad for us. And bam. Please take a look at the flowers in this picture of the hold. Notice how their petals are of the same shape as the petals in the crime scene photo?
Yes, I see. They do look to be from the same kind of flower.
Is that really all you've got? A flower is a flower is a flower. They're all the same.
Nope.
I would hardly call what you presented compelling evidence.
Oh, the judge is smacking you down.
I'm afraid I couldn't disagree with you more, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave a flower of this type to my lovely wife once when we were young, so I can assure you that this is a very meaningful and compelling evidence indeed. The soundness of my judgment in this matter is backed by nothing less than pure love.
But, Your Honor...
Let it go, Mr. Edgeworth. It's clear you don't know much about flowers. It's not like you have anyone you'd actually give any to after all. Whoa. But maybe you should study up on them just in case the opportunity presents itself.
This from the man who only knows the names of 3 types of flowers.
That's hardly relevant to the case at hand. The defense asserts that it's highly probable that the victim was killed in the hold. If the body was then placed in the lantern and moved to the reception hall for some reason, it would completely destroy the prosecution's case. And you mean the body was... Yes, the victim's body was inside the lantern during the entire beautiful wedding reception. And that's why What's-His-Face was over there. Yup. While the defendant and her betrothed were celebrating their love.
Ooh, what?
Objection!
Uh-oh.
Your smooth talk might have worked on His Honor, but it won't work on me.
What? What are you talking about now?
Take another look at all the evidence and you'll see soon see what I mean.
I wish you would just tell me already.
Detective Sky, I'm sure you've already figured out what I'm talking about, correct?
Of course, sir. Mr. Wright is the only one here who hasn't. Why don't you leave this to me, Mr. Edgeworth?
Very well, let's see what you can do.
Detective Sky, please give your testimony to this court.
Prosecution's rebuttal. The victim could not have been killed before the reception. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. Ooh, that fits in with my theory. The estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. Where Mr. Gloomsbury was killed after the reception. That completely contradicts your claim. Because he was killed before the second reception. So we're both right. Oh my god. I hope I'm right about this. If I am, that is just... I'd be pretty psyched if I was right about that from the start. I guess so.
Tell me you took at least a cursory glance at the autopsy report, Mr. Wright.
No, I actually haven't even opened it. Whoops.
It appears you've grown rusty since our last outing. Might I suggest you go back and brush up on the basics?
Hold on, I'm going back to the court record. Between 10 p.m. and 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. So, after the first reception, but potentially during the second reception. God, I hope I'm right about this. That'd be so satisfying. Sure, though I must say you're as cocky as ever, Mr. Edgeworth.
I beg your pardon.
What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? I'm just saying that I'll go back to basics if that's what Mr. Edgeworth wants. I'll prove how badly he's underestimating me with good old-fashioned cross-examination.
Well, very well. Let's see you put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Wright.
Do I have to? Okay.
Hold it!
You sound pretty certain. You must have had some solid ground for making that claim, right? Of course I do. And you're going to feel silly when I show you what they are. Ready? Feast your eyes on this. It was after the reception, okay. I've read the autopsy report too, you know. Then you don't need me to explain it to you, right? There's no way the victim could have been killed before the reception, I mean. Detective Sky, I think you've overlooked something big. I have. Why don't you take another look at the evidence? But I've already looked at all the evidence. Quite carefully too, I'll have you know.
Detective Sky, do not be taken in by his verbal antics. He is simply bluffing as always.
Right, sir. The estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. I want to refute that.
Hold it!
Is it possible the culprit did something to obscure the real time of death? No, not in this case. There's no snow or anything to keep the body from decomposing. There's no fridge on that airship big enough to fit a Oh, add that to your testimony. Big enough to fit a body into. So you've already checked into that, I see. Now it comes down to the estimated time of death, doesn't it? Couldn't the killer mess with the victim's time of death by keeping the body on ice? Yes, they could. Yes, they could. Yes, they could. Yes, they could. Yeah, if they had the means to. The prosecution is treating the estimated time of death as an absolute. But is it really? I take it you don't think it is, huh, Nick? In that case, we're going to have to find a way to convince them otherwise. Yeah, there's got to be a way somehow. No, I know. I wish we could have got that added to the court record. No wrong, no way it could be wrong. I'll show you. No, wait. Utilize the dry ice. Bam! I admit the estimated time of death does contradict my theory. Oh, but that ruins my theory. Dang. Finally, that means your theory that the victim was killed before the reception is still entirely plausible. Huh, what makes you think that? The killer could have falsified the time of death by using a certain item in the reception hall. Please take a look at this.
And what is that contraption, Mr. Wright?
It's a fog machine, Your Honor, used to create a special romantic atmosphere in the hall.
This machine could have been used to falsify the time of death?
Yes, Your Honor, because this machine uses dry ice to perform its magic. That's why it was in there.
Dry ice? Ah, yes, the super cold stuff commonly used to make theatrical fog, right? I see, so your claim is that this dry ice was used to keep the body cold?
In that case, I guess the victim could have been killed before the reception. Ooh, there we go. I'm feeling we're gonna get an objection from the other side.
Order in this court. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this development?
The victim was killed in the hold before the wedding reception. The prosecution acknowledges the possibility of this claim.
Now we're getting somewhere. And I'm gonna shut that down.
The prosecution would also like to thank you, Mr. Wright.
For what?
I didn't know a certain piece of evidence fit into this case, but now thanks to you, I do.
What piece of evidence?
To get to the hold, one needs a key card like this one.
I knew that was gonna come back to bite us. Crap.
Here we have a record of those who entered the hold with such key cards. The times aren't specified, but these are the last 3 entries on the day of the murder. As you can see, the last person to enter the hold that day was the defendant.
What?
So the one who moved the body out of the hold must have been,
That's right, it was none other than the defendant.
Crap. Hey Nick, look at this entry record. There are a couple of other names on here besides Ellen's. Hey, you're right. According to the entry record, Mr. Edgeworth Persnickety had also gone into the hold. Isn't it possible that he could have been the culprit?
Sorry, but Mr. Nickety was escorting a few of the guests at the time. I'm sure they'd be happy to testify to that fact if you'd like. Think me cocky all you'd like, right? But my confidence is rarely misplaced.
Nah.
No, then it's probably safe to assume that after the killing the victim in the hold, the defendant moved his body to the hall in order to dispose of it discreetly.
What do you mean by discreetly?
The defendant volunteered to take care of the reception's cleanup personally. That means she would have had the chance to dispose of anything in any way she wanted, including taking the lantern off the airship without raising any suspicions. Don't tell me you didn't know about Miss Wyatt volunteering for cleanup duty, Mr. Wright.
I did know about that. Yep. See, yeah, that hurts. That hurts. Gah!
Look at you, sweating buckets like a rookie even after all these years. And nevertheless, thank you for proving that the only person who could have killed the victim on the hold is Ellen Wyatt.
Ah! Great job, Phoenix. Now we're back to square one.
Perhaps you should ask Miss Sykes for some help in reviewing Defense for Dummies.
Ouch! Way to go, sir. You got Mr. Wright in a cold sweat.
I wonder if maybe the promise of seeing that miserable look on his face is what brought me back to court today. It certainly made all of my stress and woes as chief prosecutor just melt away.
I guess he had a lot of stress built up. I'll give him something to stress over before we're through today.
Your Honor, the prosecution asks that you render your verdict at this time. Before that man over there tries to throw the court into chaos with his meaningless bluffs.
I see. Mr. Wright, are there any last meaningful bluffs you'd like to present to this court?
There is. Why does he have to assume it'll be a bluff? Nick, hurry up and throw out a good one out there. I will. Well, all right then. Let's see. I've got it. How do you know it was Miss Wyatt who used her key card? After all, if it turns out that somebody else used her key card, it would mean Miss Wyatt didn't do it.
Interesting. And are you able to prove this bluff to be true?
Assure you, I'm not bluffing, Your Honor. Well, now what? Wait a minute, Nick. I can think of a certain somebody who might have used Alan's key card. You can? Remember? The one who was sneaking around the hold in spite of not being a family member? Oh, that's right. Your Honor, the defense would like to call a certain witness to the stand. Uh-oh. I need the testimony of this person who may have entered the hold with Miss Wyatt's card. Oh, crap. But now I'm just gonna have to defend Larry.
That's your witness. Are you saying that numbskull was on the airship?
I am.
He never breathed a word about that to me.
It's not surprising because Mr. Nickety told him to keep quiet about it. But Mr. Butts himself admitted it to me. He claimed to have found a way to sneak into the Flying Chapel's hold to see Miss Wyatt. This photo he took and gave to me as proof.
Then was it he who moved the lantern with the body inside to the reception hall?
You know as well as I that with him, anything is possible. And there's one possibility we should definitely look into.
I can't believe this. What in the world is he doing mixed up in this?
Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Remember what we've been saying since elementary school?
When something smells, it's usually the butts.
Exactly.
Yeah, that Larry. He'll pay for this.
You can't cut his salary. What are you going to do? Well, if you want to extract your payment now, he's right up there in the gallery. Yikes. Oh, God. I can't.
Bailiff, seize the witness before he makes a run for it.
No! Why does this stuff... Oh.
Why does this stuff always happen to me? Sorry, Larry, but you brought this on yourself.
Let us break for a 15-minute recess. I ask that both sides prepare for the next witness's testimony during this time.
Oh, no. Wow, alright, so did we prove our client innocent and now we just have to defend Larry? Because that's a win. Although we have to defend Larry. Wow, it's been a while since I've had this much fun and excitement. This is such a good case. Like the perfect DLC case. A face-off against Mr. Edgeworth, a harrowing tightrope walk for the defense. Whew, I'm exhausted already. Boss. Oh, there we go. I'm here for moral support. Athena, are you all done practicing for Trucy's magic show? Well, to be perfectly honest, I sort of ran away. But that's because she was putting my life in danger, I tell you. Let me see, I think I'll need to have a one-on-one with her. You're really athletic and fit, Athena, so Trucy probably thinks she can run you ragged. Maybe true. This is why not even Trucy can keep up with me when I run at full speed. Ha! Looks like you spoke too soon, Athena. Never underestimate the resourcefulness of a great magician. Magical girl Trucy Wright is on the scene. No! Now, Athena, it's time to practice human combustion magic. Go on, douse yourself in this gasoline. But don't worry, it's a magic trick after all, so it's perfectly safe. Run away! Hey, you're not getting off that easily. They get along so well, don't they? Reminds me of the good old days. You, me, and Pearly. Oh, and Detective Gumshoe. Can't forget him. We had all kinds of fun at the crime scenes back then, remember? I know, I want Gumshoe. Where's Gumshoe? Leaving me to do all the serious investigating, as I recall. Court will soon be back in session, Mr. Wright. Right, thank you. So Larry's the next witness, right? I can't wait to see what happens. Sadly, I can already imagine it.